Man, what's good, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's up?
I'm doing extremely well, brother.
Oh
How
my
are you?
god. Oh my god. He stole Robert's mic.
And I have the same mic, and I don't sound as good, and that really boggles my mind. I guess maybe I just don't have the voice he and Robert have, because if I'm using the same mic and I don't sound like they sound.
Well, Sean, you have a singing voice for radio.
I also have a face for radio, but that's a whole nother conversation, man.
Actually, I don't have the same mic that Robert has. I got a different mic.
You don't have a Yeti?
Nah, I don't have a Yeti. I have a Shure. I'm a Shure guy.
Oh, well then, yeah, no, you're
grade up. Sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
you're a grade up. You kind of punked us with yours. That's a better microphone, man. We have to, man, send a shout out real quick to our brother in absentia, Robert Hazard, who's somewhere doing good. That's all we'll say. We miss him, and we look forward to having him back next week. Before we bring in our exciting guests, I want to just ask you, cats, y'all good? Anything going on with you want to share before we get going?
Man, life is an amazing adventure, and I am enjoying the journey. We are 1 week and 2 days away from my show at the Airy Crown Theater, When Mars Meets Venus, the second largest stage in North America. Frank Sinatra has performed there. Tyler Perry did his plays there when they were touring. The Kings of Comedy were there. So I'm going to be on the same stage as Bernie Mac.
Hey, man, well, eventually, man, people will be saying that they're on the same stage that Mel Roberson was on. That's our goal, man. That's our goal. That's our hope for you as you do one of the things you've been gifted to do. With that said, I'm super excited. I'm always excited about whoever our featured guest is for the week, but I'm particularly excited about this guest because this is my man's, my adopted big brother. Some know him as the sipologist. Others know him as Trez, Pugh the Third. Production team, kick it.
You know you've made it when you go by one name. Trez, CEO of Sip and Savor Coffee House, where coffee and community meet. This man, well, he knows his coffee, but he also knows his community. And when he sees a void, he gets to work, and he fills it. Red Star Restaurants, a place to watch the game, get some food and have a drink, and maybe even have a laugh. Always thinking, always caring, always moving forward. I wonder, what will he come up with next? Meet me at Red Star, and let's find out.
Oh, man.
Damn, you got dramatic music and everything. I'm like,
that was love.
Hey, man, that's one of the dopest intros I've seen, big bro.
I know, man. Hey.
So this whole time when we were in the green room, bro, I done been to all your establishments. I didn't know that's who you were.
Right.
I didn't read the communication.
Right.
I didn't know either.
They were like, Sip and Savor. I was like, Red Scotch. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. That's my big bro, man, my adopted big bro, man, doing great things, man. Always glad to have you on, man. This is your second time, man, but you were such a good guest. And, we had your man on last week, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I was glad to have Phil on, man, and we always give you a little shout out, man. Let me hold that hat, player.
Yeah, I got 3 more payments left on it. So once I pay it off, you can have it, bro.
No, you should give it to him before you pay it off. So if they take it,
so he can make the other
be like Sean Mason.
The repossession of the hat falls on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, but great to see you, man. I love you. I think the world of you.
Thanks,
you already know that. I'm not one of those dudes who don't tell you how I feel. You know how our personal relationship is, and you know some of the things you've done for me personally behind the scenes. And so you are definitely one of them cats that I unapologetically say, you ain't never gonna get me to say nothing bad about this dude, because he has had my back when I had the right to think other people should have it.
Mm-hmm.
He has stepped in and done that thing, man. So we glad that you are part of the Live from the Cave family, and glad to have you on again, man. Let's jump into some stuff. First, I want to say this, man. Glenn Murray, how you not know that there's a wine shortage?
Because at my house, we're never out of wine. That's why. Like, what shortage? I'll get a call if there's a shortage. Somebody will call me from a winery to let me know, Glenn, there's a shortage. What we gonna do?
Hey man,
you're gonna ship me a case, is what you're gonna do.
It's so funny because when I saw that, I was like, well, I have to research it because Glenn gonna know all about that. He gonna be able to tell me all about it.
I'm part of the 1%er. I'm a wine 1%er, Sean.
No,
I'll never be wine broke.
No, you selfish. If you got enough wine in your house, you don't care if the rest of the world is without wine. You just
there might be a shortage for the commoners, but for those of us that drink a lot of wine, we don't have those little poor people issues.
Well, that excludes you as well, Trez.
Indeed.
All y'all big money brothers, Neil, Rob, all y'all big money brothers. I know y'all wallets so heavy y'all walk with a limp.
Man, I spent my last on this chain, brother.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know better.
It looks good though.
Yeah.
Hey, they might come knock on this hotel room door and kick me out any minute now. You talking about money? They might evict me tonight during the show.
Hey man, so check this out. Last week we talked about something, and we kind of just touched it, and I didn't really feel like I was done wringing it out, I guess, if you want to say. And so during the week, man, I circled back to something that we talked about. And the quote was from the actress Carrie Hilson, who ironically, the day I saw the quote, I didn't realize that I had just shot a film premiere and she was in the film the night before. So when I saw the quote, I'm like, oh man, she was in the film. It had Rotimi was in it, Cat Williams was in it, she was in it, the young guy Jason Mitchell was in it, called For the Love of Money, and I was one of the photographers hired to do the red carpet. So the quote says, men who provide emotional security and display wise leadership will get the softest, most feminine, relaxed, trusting, guard down, submissive, nurturing version of their woman. Even successful, strong women want to feel safe enough to be soft. That is our true nature. And so I felt the need to circle back to it because we just kind of touched on it last week. But I posted it this past week, dude, and it was like a war.
Was that your friend that told you to stop whining? You know her?
Well, that was a friend of mine who's married to a buddy of mine who basically said that when men speak to their needs and what they need to be affirmed, they're basically whining, which I thought represented a whole nother dysfunction that I wasn't even willing to, when the voice of a man being transparent enough to tell you what he's experiencing lands on you as whining, that's a conversation that I'm not even willing to have. But I circle back to it, man, because a lot of the opinions of it were very split. A lot of women were quick to, be in the amen corner and saying, hey, that's the truth. And then a lot of women had the same perspective I did, which is, why is there always a criteria we have to meet to get the best out of the lady? Like, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to sing, we got to dance, we got to do that, and then we'll get this soft version of the lady. But with us, on the first date, we gotta come in with all the bells and whistles and proving our worth and that kind of thing. And so I want to go through you guys again, man, and just have you share your thoughts on it. But I did walk away feeling like, you know what? There are enough ladies, brothers, and I'm saying this to you three brothers. There are enough ladies that hear us and that know that we're human beings with an emotional capacity and an intellectual capacity, and we are deserving of women that see us as more than financial providers and that kind of thing. So I know Trez's history, so I know he's not on the market. The two of us are single. Rob in his absentia is single. But I really wanted to circle back and partly encourage you guys as I was encouraged. At the end of the day, those of us who are single, we only want one woman. And as long as that one woman thinks about us the way we need her to think about us, and men in general, then we're good. Those women who think that those women who think that men are whining when they speak their minds, those aren't the women that we're looking for anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, Trez, I'm gonna hit you with it first, just because you deep in the game, on the other side, but you always have something good to say. So
yeah. Well, it's mostly for you single guys, but I've been married 40 years and I got married as a teenager. So
clearly, because you only look 23 years old.
Right. So I would just say that's a lot to unravel everything you just talked about. But for me, it all boils down to a few things. First of all, the communication piece is monumental, and different people have different needs. And I can't blanket and say it's a certain way you do stuff, because people always say to me or my wife, man, we need to talk to you because you've been married this long. It's no magic wand. It's no template. It depends on the people, individual needs and skills and wants. I would say this, the one thing that I think goes across the whole spectrum is listening. Listening skills is an acquired skill. You can't learn it in school. I mean, you can learn math, algebra, and all that. It's no classes on listening. You could hear people, but you don't listen. I'll give a quick example, and I'll let you single guys talk about what you think. I could tell my wife, hey, when I come home from my job, I done been at the businesses. I come in here and it's a lot of dishes in here. We got a dishwasher. Why don't you just put it in here, or either call me and let me know you got to leave out for work and I'll wash them. Well, that's what I'm saying. But what people are hearing is different. She hearing, you don't do shit. You don't wash the dishes. You need to be taking care of this. I'm being serious, bro. So
you're right.
Sometimes you could be as kind and as nice as you think you're saying something, but you presenting it one way and they hearing it another. So sometimes you have to say, so baby, you understand what I'm saying? Because they won't say nothing and say, okay, just do it. But for months, they'll have that animus about the way you talk to them about something they didn't do. So that's just a simple example. So my biggest thing is when you communicate to somebody, don't feel bad about asking them, you understand what I'm saying? I feel as though I put this in a good way, but I want to make sure you know that I can do this also. Because if you just say it and break, they take it as, oh, this nigga don't think I'm doing nothing in this piece. He don't see that I done cleaned the damn bathroom. I done went out and helped in the lawn.
Bought the groceries, right?
Yeah. So the only advice I would say when it comes to stuff like this in these relationships, and it's a hard thing because most people don't know how to communicate. They want to get their point across so quick, they're not listening. Listening skills are monumental, and be able to understand what you're saying may not be what the other person is hearing. Try to find that connection where that you understand what I'm saying and you understand I love you and I could do this. Because if you don't go that extra mile, they saying, oh, he don't appreciate me.
Mm-hmm. Before I ask Mel to jump in here, I want to address the listening thing, man, because the reality is, man, most people listen to respond. They don't even listen to absorb. The minute that something in your statement triggers whatever they think they want to say, they check out. They stop listening because they've already decided what they want to say. And they may have only gotten 40% of what you were going to say. And that other 60% may change what their response would be.
Yeah. And not to jump in, let me say this.
You can jump in.
Stephen Covey had the 7 habits. One of the habits was seek first to understand before
you understood.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to listen to, let me understand where this person is coming from before I hit them with my premise or my thesis.
Yeah.
Let me understand what they dealing with. A lot of times, if you take that angle, and you just said that in another way, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
you good.
You understand where this person coming from because they're coming from a different place than me.
Mm-hmm. That seemed like a nice handoff, Big Mel. Come on.
Yeah, so I think your question originally, and I'm going to answer what I was thinking at the time, and then touch on something that Trez said too. I think you get to a point where emotionally, mentally, even physically, you present your best, and you only want people to present their bests, right? Society, though, has taught us to a certain degree or extent that we need to hold back and not show all of our cards initially. We can't We can't let them know how we feel. We can't let them know how much money we make. We can't let them know that we're really into them. We have to send our representatives, so to speak, or even if you're not sending your representatives, you're not sending somebody who's not you, but you're holding back because if you give everything too soon, somebody could take advantage of you. I think I said this last week. I'm to a point now where in the beginning stages of me dating or seeing somebody, I'm straight out the gate. You know, here are my stands on religion, on finances, on what I think about marriage, on family, and all of that stuff. Before we even decide to go somewhere, here are the things so that we can see if we are even eye to eye enough to sit down and continue this conversation even further.
It's even worth the considering a second date.
Man,
I'm the same way. Yeah,
bro, I'm talking pre-date. I'm not even talking on first date. I'm talking pre-date.
The conversation before the actual date, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'm about to drop a couple $100 to find out if I like you enough. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's not even a thing. And then to go back to something that Trez said as well. I think a lot of times in conversations. So my philosophy is relationships fail because of two reasons: poor communication and lack of unmet expectations. And sometimes the person doesn't even know what those expectations are because you haven't communicated them to communicate communicated those expectations to them. Sorry, I've been on Zooms all day. The other part, though, is he talked about people not listening. Most people, and this isn't just in romantic relationships or conversations, this is in business, this is in life. Most people are listening to respond, not to listen.
Right. Which is what
they're hearing what you're saying, but they're just waiting for a break in your conversation so that they could say what they already have on their mind or what they were already thinking, even though if they were listening to you, they may have gotten something out of that communication and conversation that would have altered what their response would have been. But most people are just listening to respond anyway. And then the last thing that I'll say is a lot of people don't take responsibility for their communication, right? This is something that I dealt with one of my exes who spoke in absolutes, right? She spoke in absolutes and she was like, you always do this. You know, and I was like, always? Like I always do it? Like that means that I never do anything else, that this is the only thing that I do. And this is what you're dwelling on. And she was like, well, I didn't say that. I was like, well, you just said that. You know what I mean? You're making it seem like this is a repeated pattern of behavior or something that I do often, when in all actuality, you know, it was just based on something that was going on at the time. Or somebody
that moment to define you overall. Yeah.
Exactly. Or somebody will say what they're feeling, but they'll explain it as if their feeling is reality instead of, well, I feel that, blah, 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 blah.
Right. And a person's feeling isn't a universal definition for anything. It is simply the way they are feeling about it, because guess what? Your feelings could be skewed. Your feelings could be wrought with your own personal baggage or your own personal history. And while nothing else matters to you, you may not realize that your feelings are being filtered through your own history.
And not that feelings aren't valid. And, right, and not that they shouldn't be a point of conversation with what we're dealing with. Right. But just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that this is what happened. Absolutely. That's how you feel about what happened, but that doesn't mean that this is what happened.
Absolutely. And before I ask Glenn to jump in, I want to say this has been on my brain. And, you know, before we get too far away from the original question, which I'm going to circle back to, I got a real bare bones question to ask you guys. I feel like, man, when we get to this stage of our lives, we've all gone through some trenches. And so when somebody signs up to deal with you or attempt to deal with you or date you or whatever on this level, they're also signing up, and you tell me if you disagree, they're signing up to navigate your own frailties. You know, what your life has conditioned you to think in this situation, that may be good, may be bad, especially if you're an open communicator and you can say, hey, this is something that bothers me. This is something that makes me feel this way. This is something that makes me feel that way. I feel like if you're not willing to navigate those spaces, then that's probably not the person that you want to be dating, because none of us are going to be baggage free at this stage of our lives. We might be able manage it better than other people can. But we all, whether we want to admit it or not, we all are going to come into situation with some baggage. Hopefully you are balanced enough to be focused on what's in front of you and not what's behind you. Like if I talk to somebody and I can tell that they're more determined to escape what they experienced than to find a new experience, then I stay away from that person, because I feel like you haven't found a resolution, for what you experienced. But if you're able to say, hey, this is what I experienced, but I'm hitting my reset button as best I can so that I can benefit from what's in front of me. Like that old adage that says, your windshield is bigger than the rear view window, because where you're going is more important than where you've been. Then I kind of don't, I won't mess with you. But Glenn, come on. And I want to circle back to that bottom line though. Is that a fair assessment that women get to expect A, B, C, D, E from men, while men are expected to simply walk in and offer everything? I
think at a certain at any age it should be, but at a certain age it's BS. Because if you're not bringing anything to the table, I don't need to spend my time impressing you if you're not worthy of it being impressed. So, I mean, it's a both sides argument. I mean, it's a great catchphrase, and it was a great amen statement that got a lot of likes, and a lot of people, you got your amen corner behind it. But in reality, at a certain age, you need to drop the baggage, you need to drop the issues, you need to drop the daddy issues, the ex-boyfriend issues, the whatever other issues you got, and you need to come to the table with your best representative of yourself as well, and men too. But both of you need to come. If you're really in a truly committed relationship, then the first commitment needs to be to yourself to be the best partner that you can be. So
what I found fascinating, man, was that the ladies that wanted to advocate for the quote itself, they entered into the conversation with a whole lot of what she meant was, what she was saying.
Everybody women love to explain what.
They wanted to include all this shit that she didn't include in the statement, like it was an assumed reality. And I'm like, so why does she get, but she didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like what she's saying is, and I'm like, but she didn't say that. So how are you able to assume that she meant A, B, or C when she didn't take the time to say A, B, or C? I'm taking her statement for what it was. And if you meant some other shit, you should have included that other shit. Is kind of what I'm thinking. But anyway, man, that was just something I really, really found fascinating, and I wanted to circle back with you guys. I also had another experience where a good friend of mine who has a podcast, and the name escapes me, I apologize. I'll make a note to make sure that I share it with our audience. But she asked about men being faithful. And she asked, do you really think men can be faithful to one woman? And she mentioned the fact that there was this growing interest in polyamorous behavior. Yeah. And so my first response to her was the fact that you framed this as a male frailty is the first issue that I have, because infidelity doesn't belong to men. And so one of my questions to you guys is, do you think women really believe that only men cheat, or do they use that as a way to escape the reality that they are just as culpable as we are? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can use shit as a weapon. Like, this is the perception. It's the way white women do when they call the police on black men. They know that the police are going to arrive with a certain mindset, no matter what the truth is, right? So do you guys think that women really believe that infidelity belongs to us, or do they just use it wisely and benefit from perpetuating that mentality?
It's like when you were a kid and you do something to get in trouble, but you didn't get in trouble, but your friend did. And you sat back and laughed and was like, whoa, I missed that one. So for women, it makes them feel better to like assign it to men because you know you're going to get more of the amen. Like I said, the amen corner. That's the word for the night. The
Right.
Corner. Sure. Last week it was the brunch.
Right.
This week it's the amen corner, and women get their amen corner together whenever they trash a man. Right. But no, it's not gender based. It's just that the playing field seems to be unlevel because women do it better than men. That's the real reason.
Well, I think, and Trez, I want to know what you think about this. I think one of the reasons that women do it better than men is because they've successfully put it in the lap of men. So your first instinct is to think that the man was guilty. I kid you not. I've had more than one relationship end where without having any backstory, the first question that a woman asks me is, "What did you do?"
Well, they trust because they know you, Sean.
No. And that's good though. And the fascinating thing was that in every one of those instances, I did nothing. It was them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. Big bro, tell me what you think about that.
Well, ain't nothing more colder than a woman with power, bro. And I said it from when I was a Fed, man. Female judges, not all of them, female agents, female USA attorneys, and all that. I don't know if you ever seen the movie. I think it was called Indecent Proposal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, girl. So one of the things from the time of Adam and Eve, Samson and Delilah, all the way to Tyson and Givens. I'm just being honest with you. Yeah, I'm just taking you through that thing there.
Right.
One of the things I think you need to understand that the power that women have because of the sexual piece and the ability to be able to tantalize men, they have started wars, they have pitted fathers against sons. Not all women, I'm just saying the power they have.
Right, just the culture of it, yeah.
Yeah. So people could talk about, well, men are dogs, whatever. Nobody colder than a woman, bro, because we can't go out and guarantee you're going to come home with a woman. I've been married 40 years, like you said, but I look at all my single partners. They always trying to find out how can they come up. Woman come to a bar, sit down with a nice dress and wait for somebody to have a drink. She could leave with somebody every other night. Not that it has to be sexual, but people look at infidelity as it's always physical. Let me tell you something, bro. If you out with a woman and you married and she's taking time away from your kids, your family, and everything else, by sharing time when you should be doing something else. They always say, what's cheating? Well, cheating don't necessarily have to be a physical piece. It could be taking time. Time is more valuable than a physical thing. For us, physical is the thing. For women, if you have sex with a woman, a single guy, it's cool. For women, it ain't all that cool.
Different price.
It's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
You done entered her body, bro. For us, it's just something to do. For them, I done gave you a part of me. Now, you got to show me something, unless you cold like some of the women. So I would say this, you guys are all single and you have scruples, it appears, and you seem to want to do the right thing, but it's hard sometimes to understand what are people's intentions. They always try to put it on men, but the women is just as cold as some of y'all. Don't ever forget that, bro.
Yeah. And sometimes I think they benefit by being able to mask their intentions because they know the world assumes what our intentions are.
Right.
They can have those intentions and be free from judgment because the world is first going to assume that it was us.
I love the Indecent Proposal example because at the end of the movie, if you remember the lawyer, he had a woman lawyer.
Right.
Demi Moore's actions. She was on, they played the tape. They had the tape of her trying to seduce him. Mm-hmm. And she goes, a woman can say no once and a man becomes the attacker. My client said no 30 times to you and you kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had the power and it's all about the power.
Hey man, Dave Chappelle said it on one of his stories, dude. And I and my heart goes out to women to some degree because he basically did this very crass kind of analogy where he talked about the fact that men are so often seeking sex and seeking the thing that the woman carries, and that she, like Trez was saying, she carries that power everywhere she goes. I don't care how attractive she is, unattractive she is carrying something that she knows the world is after.
Yeah, but if you turn a woman down, watch the shock on her face.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh,
Yeah.
not only that, the repercussions of how they'll try to ruin not only your career, your relationship, or something else. And I'll just add this, and it's real quick. I know you guys noticed that back in the day, like some of the males teachers used to mess with the female students. They're like, oh, what a bum. You know how many female teachers was humping these little kids that was guys?
Mm-hmm.
But the guys can say, now you a punk if you said something about that. Man, you ought to be glad. You ought to be glad you hitting Miss Smith. Man, you hitting the art teacher? What? But it looks so bad, even in the industries today. You know, if a guy has a big position and he's trying to get a woman promoted and try to go after, oh, it's frowned upon. Let a guy talk about a woman trying to, like, oh, you punk.
Mm-hmm.
This woman trying to get at you and you gonna report her? It's a different standard. It's not a level playing field.
That's why it's so tricky, man. And Mel, I want you to jump in here, man. But I remember, I think I've told the story, man. I worked with a lady one time, man, and I was very sweet on her. I thought she was gorgeous, chocolate shapely thing. You understand what I'm saying? And she was feeling me as well. And I see you, Glenn. And and so when she made her interest known, you know, at the time I was in a relationship, and I said, hey, you know what? I really dig you. I think you're beautiful. You seem really cool, but I'm in this relationship right now, and me and my lady live together, and yada yada yada. And so I'm trying to be a good dude, and I'm, you know, so I really nothing I can do. And she said, oh, I didn't realize you were pussy whipped.
Yeah.
And I said, well, damn, we can't win.
Tell me what you really feel.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so if I take your advances, I'm a dog dude,
right?
You know. But then if I'm strong enough to say no, I want to be right in my relationship, then I'm old weak, you know, PUSSY whip dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you can't win. You try to do the right thing, you know, you a weak dude. You do the wrong thing, you a dog like every other dude, and you feed that perception. Male.
Yeah,
well, but what is winning? What is winning in that circumstance? If winning is doing the right thing, then it's not a you can't win, and her perception is not your reality.
I don't mean win by my definition. I mean win by the way she's gonna label me. You know what I'm saying? Like how do I hold up my relationship, but I'm seen in the eyes of a woman as a weak dude because I held up my relationship.
Bro, if she wouldn't give you a kidney, her opinion don't matter. At the end of the day, if she wouldn't give me a kidney, it don't even matter, man. I don't even know what the question was. You said you wanted me to jump in. Oh no, I got distracted.
Hey, man. Well, we were talking about whether or not the cheating thing was a man.
Yes. So I think. Do I think both sexes cheat? Yes.
Do women benefit from the perception that the world tries to make infidelity a male thing?
I mean, do they benefit from the perception?
Meaning that they get to make their moves, Mel, knowing that the first call is not going to be an assumption that they were. You
know, I don't know. I would have to give that some thought to really give my answer. I think as I've grown older and I start moving in different circles, stuff like that doesn't really matter to me as much. So I don't think about it as much, and I'm slow to give just a knee-jerk reaction on that and say something that if I gave it some thought, I might think differently. I will say this though, and I have very close lady friends, and I have, of course, guy friends that are close too. And out of the situations that I know of in my circles, even growing up, the propensity to cheat, if I had to say, my guys cheated more than the women did, at least more than I know. And I think that something that Trez brought up too, and I'm talking about physical cheating. I'm not talking about time cheating, conversation, or whatever. I'm talking about physical cheating. I have more guy friends that have done that than women. But I think also, too, it has a lot to do with, as you said, them giving up a part of themselves when they give themselves physically. You know, if you think about it, just from a physiology standpoint, if a woman gets pregnant, you know, could she still have sex? Yeah, she could, but she's carrying a baby and her hormones and emotions are altered and all of those things. And she has 9 months where her body has made a shift. A man can get a woman pregnant and you can go get 20 other women pregnant, you know, that same week. And do things. So us sharing ourselves physically is not as an emotional an event for us because nothing is entering us. It's all out. It's an outward expression for us and an inward expression.
Until the judge catches up with you.
The judge.
That was a joke. I mean, you fathered this child, you gonna have to pay for it.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I mean, a couple things. You can think
you got away, but
you shouldn't be out there going Ric Flair. You can't be going Nature Boy.
Nature Boy.
Right? you shouldn't be out there raw dogging. So let's do that.
Hey man, I'm a brother with no children, so
that means you play Jenga very well, bro. Yeah. Your pull-out game is right there.
Top notch. Hey man, I want to talk about a condition that I learned about this week from a doctor friend of mine. She taught some of her followers about something called HSDD, hypoactive sexual desire disorder. And basically it means that you have no real sexual desires, and that the desires of your mate are actually stressful for you. And so I want to talk to you guys about times that you've maybe been in I see you, Mel. Times that you've been in relationships where maybe you dated somebody, you know, who seemed to not really have a sex drive, and was that a problem for you? How did you manage it? And Mel, since you seem to be I won't say you're triggered like Rob, but you know, you heard the question.
I'm gonna drink this one out. I'm gonna just sit this one out.
No, you're not. Pink mock turtleneck. You're not going nowhere.
I'm not triggered at all by this, by the way. And I thought you were saying that somebody has more of a sexual drive than I do, and I might not want.
Yeah, no.
Other way around.
I already knew not to ask that question, Big Daddy. Big Daddy Kane. What I'm saying is, if you've been in a situation, you know, where your mate didn't meet your level, have you been in that situation? How did you navigate it? You know.
So I've been in situations where I've dated people that were celibate, and if I go into that knowing that that's the situation and I agree to that, then it's not an issue.
Right.
If there are situations where that's not the expectation, I can't say that I've ever had anybody say you want it too much. I've never experienced that. I've never experienced the, you know.
But have you experienced somebody who just did not seem able to meet your level of need?
I'm a pretty damn good teacher, so.
Well, Mel is trying to say all proper. I'm gonna be his anger translator. Here we go.
Right, Leonard, can you step in, Leonard?
Mel is a freak. He's got a red room, and it's not for the K-Side red room. It's a different.
Yeah, I mean,
like Trez got a red room too behind
a red wall and a red pool table. We ain't even gonna talk about that.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Glenn, that red wall pivots. And when it turns around, it's all kind of chains and shit.
No, ain't nothing back there but my puppies. You see?
I was gonna say, where the bodyguards at, big bro? I know the bodyguards are somewhere.
There they are.
They don't play. What's their names?
Sasha and Swag.
They don't play.
Yeah.
Kicked them out of school because they wouldn't take recess. They don't play.
Indeed.
Yeah, they don't play at all. Yeah. You know what? I have actually had an experience, man, but it was there was a connection to some health things, you know, going on. But I actually have been in a relationship where somebody's drive was affected enough, you know, that even they knew that it was a lower than normal drive. And so I feel for anybody in that situation, but it poses another question. I was having a conversation today with somebody, and we were talking about what I call your list of what I ain't gonna do when it comes to the sexual thing, right? And so some people have hangups about doing A, B, or C. It may be a very vanilla act in your mind, and in their mind, it's it's an alternative act, pushing the envelope kind of act. And so, so let's say, for example, it's the cave, so we just talking. Anybody listening, I'm sorry if you can't handle it. But let's just say we talking about oral sex, right? And you encounter a woman. You should see the smirk. You see the smirk that Mel just made on his face.
The guest on this damn episode. But go ahead. Y'all got me this time.
They set you up, Trez. They set you up.
Bigger than hell. Infidelity and everything. Go ahead.
So let's just say, big bro, I got to save all the good shit for you. So let's just say, man, that you have something in, your sexual kitty, no pun intended, of things that you enjoy, and you meet somebody that you really, really dig and you really, really vibe. And the one thing that you enjoy is something that they say they do not do. Is that something that you're able to sacrifice to be with them? Or if it's your zenith, and when I say zenith, I mean when you look at everything possible in that space, this is the thing that you would put out front as your favorite thing. If they're unwilling to do it, are you able to swallow, no pun intended, swallow that act?
Man, you killing me. Let me get some more of this. Get some more of this Belvini.
They thought I was only sharp. Male left. They thought I was only sharp when I was taking the month of October off alcohol, but I'm sharp with a cocktail too, and I'm still
good.
Here.
Lord, I knew I should have told my mama not to tune in.
My strong Christian upbringing won't let me participate in this conversation. I have only encountered
with a K, boy. Get out of here. You Christian with a K. Ain't nobody think about you.
Both of my dogs got up and left and went upstairs.
So my question is, do you swallow that act that you so enjoy, or do you say, hey, what this person represents as a place in my life and in my future, it's bigger than that. Mm-hmm. Bigger, no pun intended on bigger. What do you do, Mel?
The thoughts and opinions of Sean Mason do not represent those of the Man Cave, Keisha Rose, Indie TV, 220, or the Prosperity Group. They are his own. So the disclaimer, or Red Star or Sip and Savor. It's
We thank you
all
for
of our stuff
in.
in.
Yeah, we thank you for tuning into this one time only episode. It will be destroyed.
FCC will be giving us a call.
Right. This message will self-destruct.
We just talking, man. We just talking. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I liked you better when you was really drunk and coherent. You was so much more.
You got to decide. You didn't like me when I was sober. Now I'm drinking. You don't like me. Now you want me drunk.
You ain't drinking enough. Something is wrong. It's just something has changed in you. You got an imbalance.
I know one thing though. I ain't so drunk that you're not going to answer that damn question.
There you go.
So let's get to it because we only have 10 minutes left, guys.
Hey, Trez, because that's what he tried to do. He tried to throw me off so that you don't have to answer the question. But no, I'm certain.
Don't you have a story you want to tell us or something, Sean?
No, I do have a quote that I want to end the show with, but no, we're not there yet. We got 9 minutes and 30 seconds according to Mel.
Okay. So Mel was answering the question, so I'll let him
the answer was for me, and I can only speak for myself.
Absolutely.
And I'm even hesitant to answer this because this show is being recorded and it will live on the internet forever.
Forever. Think about it, Mel.
Right. For me, I don't have a one thing. Right. So if it's a thing, I don't. I don't have a one thing. I got a lot of things.
Yeah,
so
I got a lot of things, but it's one thing. If you ain't trying to do, we not.
Well, so depending on the gravity of the thing of the said thing that you would not do, depending on the gravity of it, would determine on you know what?
Wait a minute, the gravity. Hold on.
The gravity of that thing.
Gravity, the
You
levity.
There's nothing you can say.
I got that, big bro. I got that on the bar right now.
Yeah, it's like you know, so if you don't do something, whatever that something is, you might be a woman that people don't want, because you don't do that thing. You like a TV with a back on it. Don't nobody want that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like all these flat screens out here, and you got a back on your TV.
You a tube TV.
You weigh 85,000 pounds. Take 3 people to carry you up the stairs. Right? Ain't nobody trying to do that.
I promise you, I ain't never coming back on this show.
I know that's a lie because I'm your little brother. You're going to do it if I need you. I already know. So, let's go.
I'm too young for this conversation. I'm the youngest person here. I'm too young for this conversation.
Hey, Trez, just go upstairs and apologize.
Man, wife just left for work, so I'm safe. I'll be spooning the dogs tonight.
Glenn, don't think you escaping it. I want to know. No. Because let me just say, if you're having a problem answering the question, I'll answer it.
We know you will, Sean. You've already answered it.
There are some things. If you're not trying to do, I can't rock with you. I can't. There's some. Look here. I don't know how many good years I got left. Trez, you hear me? I don't know.
You, bro.
I don't know. So you think I want to mess with somebody for the last 11, 12 good years I got who ain't trying to do what I need? No. That's not the way that's going to happen. So Glenn Murray, I'm asking you to answer.
Dude, I'm an Aries. That means that pretty much we're good to go.
Yeah, I don't speak cliche.
If you were an Aries, you would understand, Sean.
Well, I'm not though. So, and everybody watching ain't an Aries. So.
Me and Rob's an Aries too. He can speak.
Yeah, he ain't here.
He ain't here.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I picked the wrong night not to drink. I tell you, water
definitely did.
Not working for me.
I got a red cup.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Come on, D. You can drink with me. Let me ask you. Let me.
You got my friends drinking, Sean. You got my friends starting to drink.
I'm gonna simplify the questioning for you, Glenn. Simply for you.
He gonna break it down for me. Here we go.
Hypothetically, you meet somebody you're dating, you're considering dating, and is there any isolated thing she can say, no, when it comes to the bedroom, I don't do this, that would make you say, well, I want to wish you the best, and you have a great evening.
Bedroom deal breakers.
And Mel is single. I'm gonna introduce you to my dude, Mel. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything.
Since you won't do that, Mel.
Right, since Mel is open-minded.
I'm probably not.
Right, you probably not. Right.
It's probably something she do that I need to introduce her to Mel for. Like, I don't know about you doing all of that, like, all the way around the room. You might need to talk to
production team.
Talk to Mel. He works out.
The production team said Mel is Mikey, like from the Life commercial, which always fascinates me because I don't know how we learned that commercial wrong. We say give it to Mikey, he'll eat anything, and that is not what the commercial says. The commercial says
he hates everything.
He hates everything. Right. Yeah, but Glenn, you're still not off the hook, don't you?
Okay.
Yeah. So
is there a deal breaker in the bedroom? Yeah, there's deal breakers.
So you still skirting. I'm asking you a very specific question.
Ask me if it was
is there anything, you don't have to identify the thing. Is there anything she can say I don't do? And you say you have a nice day. It's been
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. King Baldine. That's all I wanted. You to admit. Because I'm not bashful about that whole thing. Before we get out of here, man, we got we got 5 minutes. One of the things about the question that I told you all that the podcast host mentioned about men cheating, there was a part B in the spirit of Yanni Brown. There was a part B to the question. And the question said more men are pursuing poly as a lifestyle, right? And so my response was that and I'm gonna put myself out here a little bit, but I've had poly experiences, and I didn't initiate them.
You used to go to them parties by O'Hare, didn't you?
No.
I read about
How you know where they were, Glenn?
Thank you, Mel. I appreciate that.
Oh, Lord.
Sometime the frat will sneak up on you,
Yeah.
And so in the host's mind, polyamory was a largely male pursuit. And I explained to her that my exposure had been from a married woman pursuing a secondary mate. And then I also, educated her on the fact that most people, if you don't know about it, you kind of define it by a sexual thing. And that's not really what it's about. Polyamory is about multiple relationships that feed different aspects of what you need. And just like sex is under the umbrella of many things, sex is just something that's under the umbrella of polyamorous relationships. So do you guys think that there is that perception that even something like poly is like a male pursuit, to have more sexual partners, and not just one sexual partner? I know it's not true because my exposure to it came from female. But again, it's much like the whole cheating culture where remember when the OJ case came and a lot of people were saying domestic violence was being put in the lap of black men because they had made OJ the face. I feel that way sometimes about infidelity, about polyamorous relationships, that it's real easy to just make men the face of it.
If they put a face to polyamory, it'd be like some lady that lives in Winnetka somewhere. That would be the face of polyamory.
Be a soccer mom.
Yeah, it'd be a soccer mom, because you'll be surprised who approaches you in the Marianos.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd have been approached and didn't even catch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in the car driving home, like,
no, I was approaching, and a friend of mine was like, "You know what she was talking about, right?" I was like, "No, she just invited me to a barbecue that her and her husband were doing. I didn't know."
Yeah, I was at a baseball game, man, and didn't realize until I was in the car on the way home that a couple had tried to pick me up. I didn't even catch it.
Wow.
Hey, man, we got 2 minutes left, man, and y'all have been awesome. Big bro, you have been awesome, man. I enjoy being in your presence and in your space, whether it's virtual or I get a chance to hug your neck in one of the coffee shops. Mel and Glenn, y'all have been amazing tonight, man. And so I had a thought in my head, man. I've been carrying for the last week, and I decided that I wanted to share it to close the show. Mel, you're gonna close out with something special for us with your what's coming up for you in a week or so. I want you to close out with some details on that. But let me leave you guys with this quote. If you are lucky enough to come close, just come close to the things that you dream of, then stop for a minute and thank the divine for that almost experience. What I've come to realize, man, is that sometimes almost fulfilling your dream is very powerful because it gives you the understanding that your dream is attainable. It gives you the drive to keep going forward, to keep pressing forward, whether it's that relationship, that career, that level of income, whatever it is. So if you ever get close and you just don't quite cut it, spend more time being grateful for the almost experience than for the fact that it didn't happen for you. That's from me to you. Big Mel, you got something big coming, man. Let's close out with you giving us some details on what's coming up for you, man.
Super dope. Thank you for that. Erie Crown Theater, November 13th, a week from Saturday, When Mars Meets Venus. It is a great stage play, and you want to get your tickets now, Ticketmaster.com. And I can't wait to see you all there. Frank Sinatra has performed on this stage, so I'm ready to rock and roll. And now we have a word from our sponsors.
Are you worrying about a legal problem like a consumer issue, medical bill, real estate transaction, landlord-renter dispute, traffic ticket, or estate planning? Legal issues are a part of life, but that doesn't make handling them any less confusing, frustrating, devastating, or even crushing. And lawyers are expensive. There's a better way. Legal Shield gives you advice and counsel from reputable lawyers near you. Our caring and dedicated law firms can help you with a wide range of legal matters, all for less than $1 a day. Protecting and empowering you with a law firm in the palm of your hand. The Legal Shield mobile app can help you begin preparing your will. Take pictures of a traffic ticket and securely submit it directly to your law firm, and speak to a lawyer with just the press of a button. Or call 24/7, 365 in an emergency. Legal Shield protects over 1.8 million households in all 50 states, plus Canada, liberating our clients from legal frustration. Knowing you have a law firm in your corner protecting you can be empowering. Worry less and live more. Sign up for Legal Shield.
Camped out at home for COVID? Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.